Hey, what's going on, everyone? Supreme Com here. So, we are taking a look at these two banners over here. I'm not actually summoning. I'm actually doing the part review for these twos over here. So limited time alternation part bullseye over here for the strike freedom and infinite justice. They finally got their alternation. All right. So we're gonna see how they age. So we're gonna quickly take a look at the steps. So this step up banner is similar to what we have for the double riser and then the Destiny Gundam, but this one, everything is 6-star over here. So if you guys did manage to pull on either one of these banner, you can guarantee yourself a 6-star prize over here. So let's actually take a look at the drop rate over here. 16%, 1671. Oh, okay. And then the last step is going to be guarantee. If I recall, I believe the Double Riser and Destiny had the same the fifth step is guarantee, I believe. And then the freebie, you are gonna be getting yourself the exclusive parts tickets you exchange for either Strike Freedom and the Infinite Justice. But this time instead they only give you one of these over here. And then one more additional gimmick on this banner or this two units is you see that ZZ Material D over here. If you guys have already accumulated some parts for the Strike Freedom and Infinite Justice, there's no need for you guys to summon it, because if we take a look at the shop, we can head over to the event blueprint and then we can take a look at the item. You guys can actually use the ZZ material for this week. If you guys have summoned at all this week, you guys can exchange it for the L Bash for either Strike Freedom or the Infinite Justice. So there's really no point of summoning if you guys have like the full suit, for example, right? And then you guys have some material D. But there's one more additional gimmick. So let me go back over here, go back to the shop, exchange, and then so these are like the regular L Bash exchange. This time you have 5 of the L Bash you can exchange for 700 of these gunpowder build coins over here, where you can exchange for more nippers, which is over here. The gunpowder build points over here you can exchange for some nippers over here. Okay, bandits out here, they're like, where's your wallet location? I need to know. Yeah, so alright, besides that, let's now take a look at these two units over here. I will say the Infinite Justice overall is a little bit more underwhelming, like just overall. Like the Strike Freedom was a little bit more impressive to begin with. So let's start with the Strike Freedom. I'm gonna quickly go over everything we need to know about these 7 parts over here. So Strike Freedom is obviously gonna be a range-based unit. So obviously the head is gonna be the most important part. The head and the rifle, those are the two bulk of the parts that makes up like your shot build. So look at that base that we are looking at 110,090. So this would place it right on top 2 right now. And then we take a look the word tag. I don't For me, I wouldn't use this head just because that it uses Gundam type, where I would say Commander is a little bit more better, because as you get higher in terms of stat, I think having that 5 additional percentage is gonna make up for that flat stat over here. That's my opinion. I'm pretty sure a lot of people do run like X exclusive Gundam type and high firepower for like their shot build, but me personally, I swap a Gundam type for Commander. So I think that 5 extra percent equates, because I'm running like what, around 80k shot attack right now. So 5% of that equates to like 5 to 6,000, which is significant, right? Even though we get like a really good flat stat over here, but like overall percentage do yield higher shot attack than the supply numbers over here. In terms of the portrait over here, this is one of those really excellent portrait over here. Even though you're locked behind, like you have to use like, there's 2 conditions you need to meet, right? You need to be using a double saber, so like not the twin like saber, but just the one that have the 2 sword, like this one over here. You want to be using these kind of melee weapon. So it's really good. This is one of the better portrait you can see in the head department over here. And then when you're using twin rifle category, you also get another EX skill boosted by 35%. So this is a if you guys did manage to get the head somehow like way back, this is a must alternate, just because these 2 parts are excellent, good. What is the stat as well? Word tag wise, I'm a little bit more not too happy about. But what can I say? Like, you can't really put Commander in this point, right? It would have been better if they put like high firepower, but it is what it is. I don't even think this whole units have high firepower. because this came out before like the actual alternation period. This came out like right when we had 6-star, like just beginning to have 6-star parts. So the head, if you guys do have the head, highly recommend to alternate that. That guy is a beast. Moving on to, yeah, if you guys can see, the next 4 parts is gonna be locked behind an EX skill. So I will say get some better parts, just because this one have like a EX skill over here. In terms of stat, we are looking at rank number 4 over here. This one does have pretty good vortex. Like the higher ups, like shot based chess, I think the vortex are more leaning towards like the melee build. They like to do that kind of sort of stuff, like putting like really high shot attack step on on like a really melee base vortex. So this one is pretty good, being that high of a shot attack, because like you guys can see, no melee defense or no beam resistance, so they have a lot more room to like wiggle around the stat over here. We do have EX skill over here. This one's gonna be, I would say, just because the next 4 parts is a EX skill base, I would say alternate at your own cost, like if you guys like the EX skill. But me personally, I don't really use these 60-second ones. I use like either like the 30-second EX skill, or like the 120-second cooldown one. So I'm not really too familiar like with these kind of ones. So if you guys do know like, alright, how much is like the power wise in terms of it, I'm pretty sure it's gonna be pretty good. Like coming out of like A plus and B plus split over here, it should do a pretty significant amount of power. But if you guys just mainly want the stat over here, I'm pretty sure you guys gonna have to come down to the permanent side over here, and probably sub slot yourself. Let me see if the Wing Gundam have any. Maybe what do we? Nope, no Gundam type of Ace exclusive. I think the Barbados probably be a good choice, right? Let me see. Does have Gundam type, and then can't really run this one as well because it's a buffing melee stat over here. So for the chess, for the strike freedom, it really depends. If you just strictly want the EX skill, you can alternate it, but you're gonna have to subslot a non 1 to 100 parts, which you're gonna. I don't even think I'll probably find a good pair of chess you can put onto this one, but you're not gonna be getting that premium 30% for the what is it, the subslot. So I'll see if I can find a good pair of chests. Maybe you can subslot to this one, but other than that, I think you're better off is using something else. So alright, moving on to the arm over here. The arm is gonna be a integrated arm plus shield over here. So in terms of like the melee stat, obviously you're not gonna be running this guy on like a melee build. I mean, you can, but the portrait doesn't really support it. You're looking at a exclusive in mid range. Wow, they really like to play around with these word tag back in the day. So this one is gonna be a beam sword over here. This is the meteor unit over here. So it's gonna be doing a deep piercing aim, just a flat A power over here. I think, yeah. Oh, even a base level one is still A. Alright. You wouldn't really run like a melee weapon on like a shop, right? So if you guys do have love for like the meteor unit on like your melee kit, I mean, you can. If you guys do run this on like your, so here's the thing: if you guys run this as like your main part in your melee build, for example, right? Just like normally, you are gonna be suffering like the shield, like in terms of the shield department, you're gonna be losing out 2 portraits. So the power's in your hand. If you guys want better stats overall, or like two additional portrait, me personally, I would go for two more additional portrait, just because those portrait will probably deal more damage overall, than just having like a flat stat over here. So this one I wouldn't really recommend alternating as well, just because like I'm pretty sure the power wise is B plus before alternation, so it's not that much of a difference. You just jumping to what is it, 2 power differences, like A minus and yeah, just A minuses. So I wouldn't really recommend alternating this one. So probably the head's probably still gonna be the one you need to alternate if you guys have it, right? So moving away from this, looking at this leg over here, we are, in terms of the leg stat over here, not looking too bad, but you are again locked behind another EXQ over here. So strike freedom, like the strike freedom and infinite justice, like I don't know why they have 2 custom EXQ. So this one is a rail cannon over here, coming at D Pierce and S power. In terms of like, do you want the EX skill, like the power is in your hand? But I will say one thing, we don't really have too many leg casting EX skill. We do have like the Freedom one, like the Freedom Gundam. I think other than that, I don't think there's that many like good casting EX skill. So it's gonna do a squad recovery of 48%, and it's also gonna do a shot attack up to your squad by 39%. So really generic over here. So in terms of the stat, let's look at the word tech first. Ace exclusive and high mobility. Well, I mean it would fit, right? Because Strike Freedom is kind of like really fast with like the wing he's got, but like in this game, you can't run like a melee word tag over here. So me personally, I think there are a lot more better like leg part, like for the shot department. So I'll probably list a few if I can, like if I can find a few. If you guys purely want the cutscene skill, like I wouldn't be opposed to that. So that power is in your head again for this one over here. All right, moving on to the backpack over here. What are we? Can I click on it? Come on, let me click on it. Alright, in terms of the stat, I wouldn't say it's that bad. You are looking at a top 10. But then again, you are locked behind a cutscene EXQ, and then you're looking at a pretty set of bad word hacks over here. So, this one you have Ace exclusive, so you can automatically subslot that into the 1 to 100 scale RE72 because the backpack does have a cutscene. Does have an X exclusive as the word tag, so you can guarantee yourself a 30.5% absolute subslot. So the portrait for the R72 is pretty good as well, so you can take advantage of that as well. But you are looking at it, can see A skill. So I said this many times for like these kind of split over here, you are looking at an A minus and A power. I said this for the unicorn. I'm pretty sure this one I believe is a wake. I said awakening EXO. I haven't actually take a look at the animation as well. So, in terms of these kind of EXO, you're not really gonna be looking at too great of a power just because you're looking at a power. So this one is probably not gonna be a good choice. Like the better one we have seen, like in terms of these kind of scaling, like like the one we seen was the Vidar Gundam. That came in at A Pierce and S power. So those are the one you want to really focus on if you're looking at Pierce. This one is probably I wouldn't suggest alternating it just because it's not S power. I don't think the Pierce would do too many like wouldn't like hinders it as much. But that A power, yeah, that A power is no good. You're looking at the same effects as the legs, so it's just pretty generic over here. Alright, moving on to the melee weapon over here. In terms of the portrait over here, you're looking at enemy melee power reduction by what is it, 30% over here. I don't really like these kind of portrait, as you guys have known. Like when I do these part review, I would rather have these be like like a power buff or like an initial cooldown, so that would be a little bit more better. Though this one is probably not something you need to like really focus on the alternation as well. In terms of word tag, you are looking Ace exclusive and Gundam type again, so not a bad pair over here. So moving on to the beam rifle over here. So this one, the beam rifle, is probably something the second one you really need to alternate. But if you guys have the ZZ rifle from the build project, I really suggest this one because that one is still a little bit better. That one better shot attack and better shot defense. But we are looking at a pretty good. But we are looking at a pretty good set of a portrait over here with S attribute EX skill power boosted by 30%, and then long shooter job boost when you have long shooter job shooting power boosted by 35%. So this one is pretty good if you guys do have the beam rifle of it. I will highly suggest you guys to alternate. So in terms of the strike freedom, the only two parts you really need to focus on to alternate is probably going to be the head and the beam rifle. All the other one is probably subjective to like if you guys want the EX skill or if you guys just want the pure stat stake. But if you guys purely want the stat stake, you guys gonna have to subslot for something else. Can't really guarantee to get the 1 to 100 scale alternation just because not a lot of them really supports it. But I'll try to see if any of the other like 1 to 100 scales does support all the other parts over here. So next we're gonna quickly talk about Infinite Justice. Alright, now moving on to the Infinite Justice. You guys have seen the stat I have on the right hand side. Yeah, it's not too impressive overall. So if you guys do really need to summon, I'll probably highly suggest you really need to summon. Probably Strike Freedom would be a better bet. just because Infinite Justice kind of underperformed even with the alternation over here. So let's take a look at the head over here. The head does make it into the top 18, but just not good enough because look at that set of Vortex over here. You are looking at close combat and Gundam type, which is not an ideal set of Vortex you will run for like a melee build over here. So in terms of the portrait over here, you have when you have close combat active, enemy shooting power reduction by 30%, which is not something I'll really run. If you guys do have liking for this kind of portrait, I mean, by all means, you can alternate it. And then the second portrait over here, the leg parts, EX skill power boost by 35%. So this one is gonna be like really restrictive to the leg over here, which is not something good as well. So probably the head is something you can skip as well. All right, moving on to the chest over here. In terms of like the you do look at coming in at rank 12 over here for the shot department over here. But then again, in terms of word check, you are looking at close combat and Gundam type, which is not an ideal. I want to say not ideal for like you do have Gundam type, which kind of works for like a shot build, but you're gonna have to work around with like a portrait. The word tech department just to get a higher stat if possible. In terms, well, you're gonna have to get something that has a great portrait as well because you are looking at a pretty bad EX skill over here. This is like the chest Vulcan and over here. B Pierce and C power. Not an ideal. What? Not even a good EX skill over here. No effects at all. So yeah, this is not a good alternation. You just want the pure stat over here. I'm pretty sure there are a lot more better choices out there than this one over here. So this one is no for alternation as well. Alright, moving on to the arm over here. Base stat is not looking too bad, but if you add that change gear, you're only at roughly about 10k, so it's not enough for like modern days now because just this week we have the crystallized unicorn, which break what 11.4k, so it was just a little bit more. And then this one, in terms of the, I mean, you have a pretty set of good portrait over here. When you are looking at Elf Fighter job, melee power boosted by 30%, and then shot attack down by 10%, melee power boosted by 35%. So this is a pretty good pair of portrait over here. And then I'm probably you won't really want to subslot its own. You can probably subslot this to a, let me see. I'm pretty sure you can subslot this one to the Barbados arm, right? Yep, you can do that. You have Gundam type over there. Pretty good set of portrait as well from this one. You do have one EX skill power. You don't even have to use this portrait over here because you can use the one over there. This is purely for the subslot. That is if you guys don't pull another Infinite Justice arm. If you guys do have two Infinite Justice arm, it's highly suggest you subslot its own. But then again, this one does have a better a higher portrait. What is it, stat up here? So it is better to use this one instead of the Infinite Justice arm. If we take a look at the L strike over here, let's see the arm stat over here. You do have same portrait as the, what is it, for the Barbados, but you won't be using the Barbados. You're gonna be using the Infinite Justice own portrait. So you're just gonna support it because you do have Gundam type over here. And this one does have a better melee defense, so you want to be using either the L strike or the Barbados with subslot instead of its own, ideally. Alright, now moving on to the leg over here. In terms of the leg, the stat is not really too impressive. Does have a pretty good set of word tags over here. I wouldn't really recommend alternating this one as well, but if you guys do like the infinite dive over there, this is another casting ink skill with the meteor attached on. So if you guys do have liking for this, by all means you can alternate it. But other than that, this one is not gonna be good for stat sticks, so probably something you can skip. But if you guys do like the leg ink skill over here, by all means you can alternate it. That is just your own personal preference, I would say. Alright, moving on to the backpack, another casting ink skill. The stat on the backpack is not impressive at all. You have a pretty good word tag as well, but mainly you just want the EX skill. If you guys do have the likings of the Falcon 01 over here, by all means you can alternate it. Like I said again, not gonna be too ideal to run as a sub slot or main for the main slot as well. So not really to talk about for these two EXQ over here. All right, so the only really big thing you want to really alternate for the Infinite Justice is probably gonna be the couple of the Beam Saber over here. Currently with the alternation, we are looking at the number one melee set over here. Everything combined, like Twin Saber, like any melee weapon right now. So you have a pretty good set of portrait, war tag as well, close combat, high mobility. So that will work really well in any of your builds. In terms of the portrait, the first one is really good. When you're using Outfighter, you have that initial cooldown, that initial charge boosted by 20%, which is nice. But the second portrait, you are looking at a enemy melee reduction by 30%, which is not something too ideal. Maybe this one you can subslot that to, I don't know. Let me see. You can probably subslot this one to the Ixia. Wait, no, you can't because that one is a regular saber. Twin. This is dual saber over here, so you can't really do that. So the only best bet you're gonna have to subslot its own. So the second portrait is kind of a letdown, but you do have a pretty high stat over here, so probably something to consider about this over here. But other than that, because of the second portrait, I wouldn't really recommend this one over here. All right, jumping into the beam rifle over here. Let's see, in terms of the stat, because this is gonna be run on like melee suits. In terms of the melee, it's not looking too high, but it doesn't really matter because most of the melee power is not gonna be coming out from the beam rifle anyways. In terms of the portrait over here, you are looking at a pretty good set of portrait over here when you have T attribute lock. So this one is going to be locked to be used on a T type build over here. EX skill power boosted by 30%. That is really good. And then the second portrait is going to be locked behind the backpack EX skill. So this one can be pretty good. But other than that, I'm pretty sure there are better beam rifles out there with like non-conditional parts over here. Like any other parts can take benefit of this EX skill power booster over here. Good tags as well, Gundam type and close combat. You're gonna have to really work something out to get rid of that Gundam type for sure. All right, moving on to the shield over here, we have another EX skill over here. If I can click on it. Alright, so in terms of the stat, I'm pretty good for the melee department over there, coming in at rank number 4. But like I said, this one is going to be locked under a EX skill over here, so you're going to have to subslot something to get a portrait. But because mainly this one, the EX skill over here, by all means, is pretty good. I'm pretty sure before alternation, it will be B+, so even if you don't alternate it, I think it will be pretty good overall, just a B+ power. So in terms of like the shot department is not gonna be too impressive. So but last week we did have a pretty good shield. What is it? No, this week the crystallized unicorn shield. I think that will be a better bet to alternate if you guys did already. I think that shield serves better purpose than this one overall. So the Infinite Justice, like even up to alternation, I think is a little bit underperformed compared to the Strike Freedom. So if you guys really need to alternate something for the Infinite Justice, probably only the melee weapon. Other than that, I wouldn't really recommend the other one. So maybe the beam rifle, but this one is gonna be locked behind T type, and then this one, the second portrait, is locked behind a backpack. So not really too much love for the Infinite Justice over here. Mainly focusing on the Strike Freedom over here. So with that being said, hopefully this is helpful for you guys to decide, all right, which one do I really want to alternate with the limited resources that you guys might have. So with that being said, I will catch you guys on the next one.